The impossible just happened. Three of Africa's most defiant nations, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, have just torn up ECOWAS, declared total sovereignty, and officially formed a bold new alliance, the AES Confederation. In a move that has stunned the African Union, shocked Europe, and infuriated France, these West African nations are no longer begging for permission. They're taking back power on their own terms, and this time, there's no going back. The Sahel is rising, and so is a new Africa. Today, we reveal the inside story of how the AES Alliance destroyed ECOWAS, and why millions across the continent are now saying, Africa is finally free. Stay with us. This is the moment that could change the future of Africa forever. For over 40 years, ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States, was meant to unite the region. But in recent years, something changed. Instead of protecting its members, ECOWAS became a weapon of foreign influence. Many began to see it not as a force for good, but as a puppet of Western interests, especially France and the United States. The final straw came after military takeovers in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, where new leaders rose on promises of sovereignty, anti-imperialism, and Pan-African renewal. Instead of dialogue, ECOWAS responded with threats of military invasion, sanctions, and economic strangulation, all while ignoring the deep-rooted cries of the people for freedom from colonial control. Rather than stand with their own African brothers, ECOWAS stood with foreign powers. The people saw it, the soldiers saw it, and the presidents of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger saw it. And so, they chose to walk away, together. August 2023, a historic announcement sent shockwaves across the world. Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traoré, Mali's Assimi Goïta, and Niger's Abdourahamane Tchiani declared the formation of a new military and economic alliance, the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. At first, many dismissed it as symbolic, but the alliance has rapidly grown into something much more powerful. In 2024, the AES formed a joint military force, signed unified economic plans, and began moving toward a full confederation. We will no longer obey ECOWAS, declared President Traore. We will defend ourselves. We will feed ourselves. We will stand by ourselves. That vision has now become reality. Just weeks ago, in an extraordinary press conference in Niamey, the AES officially announced their irreversible withdrawal from ECOWAS. And the message was clear. ECOWAS no longer serves the interests of Africa. Instead of lifting nations, it imposes colonial chains. Instead of defending the people, it punishes them for daring to be free. Traore did not mince words. He called ECOWAS a traitor organization, dancing to the rhythm of Western drums. Assimi Goïta echoed him. We don't need permission. And Tchiani finished with this bombshell. AES is not just an alliance, it is Africa's rebirth. The crowd erupted. African youth across the continent celebrated. Videos went viral, and across TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, a new chant was born. Down with ECOWAS, long live AES. What we are witnessing is not just a diplomatic dispute. It is the rejection of the post-colonial order. For decades, Africa has been told, you are poor, you need help, you must follow our systems. But now, leaders like Traore are saying, we are not poor. You stole from us. Now we take it back. The AES nations are not waiting for IMF approval or UN applause. They are expelling foreign troops, building local military strength, reclaiming control of their mines, gold and uranium, kicking out French companies, educating their people in Pan-African values, and building a future where Africa leads Africa. For the first time in a generation, African nations are not asking, they're declaring, and other countries are watching and listening. Since the rise of AES, a domino effect has begun. Guinea is strengthening ties with Traore's government. Senegal's new president, Bassirou Faye, just ended French military presence in Dakar. Chad is reconsidering its role with France. Even Gabon, under General Brice Oligui Nguema, is questioning its old colonial ties. Across the continent, the winds of change are blowing hard. What began as military realignment is becoming an ideological revolution. The youth of Africa, from Lagos to Kinshasa, from Nairobi to Accra, are no longer satisfied with recycled promises. They want action, independence, and power, and now they have a blueprint. AES. Make no mistake, the West is watching, and they are terrified. The IMF is pressuring countries not to follow AES. Western media calls Traore a dictator. Think tanks are publishing reports warning of instability. But these are the cries of an empire losing its grip. Why? Because for the first time in 200 years, African leaders are not playing by colonial rules. They are writing their own. And that is what makes this so dangerous to the old powers and so powerful for the new Africa. AES is now pushing ahead with plans to launch a shared Sahel currency, create a Pan-African Development Bank, introduce Pan-African education focused on African history and resistance, and explore resource-backed trade without relying on the West. The goal is simple. Africa must benefit from Africa. That is the mission, that is the vision, and that is the revolution underway. The only question is, who will join them next? The world is watching, Africa is rising, and the AES Alliance, born in defiance, may be the beginning of a completely new continent. Not a continent begging for foreign aid, not a continent trapped in debt, but a continent that controls its land, its future, and its power. If you believe Africa deserves that, share this video, comment Africa Rising below, subscribe to the channel, and tell the world the AES is just the beginning. Welcome to African Diary 24, the channel where Africa speaks for itself. From powerful stories and rich cultures to political realities and grassroots movements, we bring you content that informs, inspires, and challenges the narrative. Whether you're here to learn, connect, or explore, you're in the right place. This is Africa, unfiltered, unapologetic, and rising. Hit that subscribe button and become part of the journey. Disclaimer. The content featured on African Diary 24 is for informational, educational, and documentary purposes only. We aim to represent stories with accuracy and integrity, but the views expressed in interviews or commentary do not necessarily reflect those of the channel. We do not promote hate, violence, or political bias. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for sensitive topics. Always do your own research and think critically.
African Revolution is here. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have officially exited ECOWAS and are rising under the bold new African Alliance, AES. This historic move comes just days after the military junta in power in Burkina Faso, led by the charismatic young captain, Ibrahim Traoré, made a stunning announcement. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has just sealed the exit of Burkina Faso from ECOWAS. Now Mali and Niger have followed suit, exiting ECOWAS in solidarity with Burkina Faso. This bold move marks a significant shift in the political landscape of West Africa, signaling a growing discontent with Western interference in African affairs. But that's not all. The ousted Nigerian president has also voiced his support for leaving ECOWAS, describing the organization as the tool of neocolonialism. This move has sent shockwaves throughout the region, raising questions about the future of democracy in Africa. But many Africans see this as a necessary step towards true freedom and self-determination. In an extraordinary summit held in the Ghanaian capital of Accra, the leaders of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, made a controversial decision to suspend both Burkina Faso and Mali following their recent coups d'état. However, this decision has been met with mixed reactions from African countries, highlighting the deep divisions within the region. While some countries like Nigeria and Senegal have expressed support for the sanctions against Burkina Faso and Mali, others, including Ghana and Ivory Coast, have chosen to abstain. This division has exposed the fault lines within ECOWAS and raises questions about the effectiveness of the organization in addressing the root causes of instability in West Africa. Adding fuel to the fire, the chairman of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, has come out swinging. He is urging ECOWAS to lift the suspension and embrace dialogue as a way to resolve the crisis in Burkina Faso and Mali. But it's not just about dialogue. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf is emphasizing the need to address the underlying issues that led to the coups, such as poverty, inequality, and foreign interference. He is calling for a comprehensive approach that tackles the root causes of instability and empowers African nations to chart their own path to democracy and development. But the situation takes an even more dramatic turn when Ibrahim Traoré, the charismatic leader of Burkina Faso's military junta, makes a stunning announcement. He is calling on other African countries to emulate the example of Mali and exit the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, and the West African Economic Union, UEMOA. This move signals a growing sentiment across Africa towards economic self-reliance and protectionism. In response, the African Union has suspended Burkina Faso and Mali, deepening the rift between the two organizations. The AU's decision reflects the continental body's commitment to democratic principles and its opposition to unconstitutional changes in government. The suspension of Burkina Faso and Mali, a clear signal that the AU will not tolerate any attempts to undermine democracy and good governance in its member states. However, the situation is far from settled. There are ongoing efforts to mediate between ECOWAS and the juntas in Burkina Faso and Mali with the aim of restoring constitutional order and stability to the region. The international community is closely monitoring the situation, and there is hope that a peaceful resolution can be found that respects the sovereignty and self-determination of African nations. In a surprising turn of events, the ousted Nigerian president, who recently returned to the country after being overthrown in a military coup, has added his voice to the debate. In a national broadcast, he expressed his support for Burkina Faso and Mali's decision to withdraw from ECOWAS, citing the organization's perceived shortcomings and limitations. Bassam's comments have further fueled the debate surrounding ECOWAS's role in promoting democracy and good governance in West Africa. Some have praised him for his courage and willingness to speak truth to power, while others have criticized him for undermining efforts to restore constitutional rule in Nigeria. As the situation continues to evolve, one thing is clear: the people of Africa are taking their destiny into their own hands and charting a new course for the continent's future. They are demanding true freedom, self-determination, and a future that reflects their aspirations for peace, prosperity, and justice. The world is watching as Africa rises and takes center stage in shaping its own destiny. That's it for now. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. If you want more updates, please follow us. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay tuned for more updates. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters.